Top 20 Best Horror Movies of All Time.
Hello.
Number 20. Jaws, 1975. One of the most successful movies of all time, which can scare anyone, not only because of the bloody murders carried out by the 22-foot white shark, but also because it's something that could happen to you or me. One of the first films by Steven Spielberg, who has proven to be a master in his field. And although horror isn't his forte, he knows how to handle it pretty well, using the subjective camera to provoke fear. Number 19. Alien, 1979. A great movie that combines sci-fi with horror. The plot revolves around a group of crew members of a commercial ship that have to investigate an alien vessel due to a distress call, which will be their ordeal. You'll watch an endless battle between humans against this creature. A well-developed film rated R for its gruesome and gory scenes. Number 18. Paranormal Activity, 2007. Who would have thought that a simple movie about a couple recording their daily lives because a ghost haunts them would cause nightmares to more than one? Interestingly, this famous ghost is never seen. People simply associate it with the noises, the tension between the couple, and Katie's activities. A faux documentary that made more than one jump out of their seats. I recommend you watch it now.
Paranormal Activity.
Number 17. Scream, 1996. A sly and witty film directed by the great Wes Craven. However, this time something different happens, as the characters in the movie are aware of the situation they're living and try several times to not fall into the horror cliché. Besides, it shows a more human killer, meaning that he can fail, be injured, or even die. Very different from the immortal Freddy Krueger or Michael Myers. A smart, funny, and above all, quite bloody film that you shouldn't miss. Number 16. Nosferatu, 1922. One of the most influential works of the silent film era, as well as the first time the great Dracula is seen on the big screen. A character who doesn't fall into extravagance, and who with his simplicity can sow fear and convey why he's called the Shadow of Evil. This film has unique art, which can manipulate your emotions in every scene, accompanied by a superb soundtrack that makes your skin crawl. Number 15. It Follows, 2014. One of the best gems of the horror genre. This film is about a young woman who gets cursed after having sex with her boyfriend, so she'll do whatever it takes to get rid of this suffering. A clever plot with good storytelling pacing, disturbing sound resources, and hair-raising visual effects. Directed by David Mitchell, it was able to turn the desire of teenagers into their worst nightmare.
Hey, are you okay?
Number 14. Get Out, 2017. Outstanding movie. A film that's very funny, horrifying, and thought-provoking. An interracial couple seems to be pretty welcomed by their in-laws, whom they visit. But as the plot progresses, you realize that something gruesome's about to happen. Director and screenwriter Jordan Peele handles the extremism of admiration quite well, showing you that any gentle facade can hide something terrifying. Number 13. Wreck, 2007. This amazing Spanish zombie movie couldn't be missing. A horror film that uses the faux documentary method pretty well. A journalist and her cameraman are filming the firefighters' routines when a distress call will make them have the worst experience of their lives. You aren't aware of anything that's happening. You just see through the footage that a risky and somewhat clumsy cameraman shows you. A movie filled with zombies that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Number 12. Hereditary, 2018. A great horror masterpiece, which surprises you as the plot progresses, leaving you dumbfounded. This movie is about the Graham family, which begins to fall apart after the matriarch's death. A film full of dangerous secrets, horrifying scenes, and above all, characters that gradually become deformed. Best of all, Ari Aster, the film's director, uses sound mixing pretty well throughout the movie, making you feel uncomfortable even when something innocent or insignificant happens. Number 11. The Thing, 1982. disgusting in all its glory. Director John Carpenter brings you a tense sci-fi thriller riddled with well-made monstrosities. The story revolves around a group of American scientists who live a terrifying experience in Antarctica, while a strange monster eliminates them one by one. The transformations are disgusting and perturbing. Everything turns into a bloody battle to find out who is and is not infected. Number 10. Suspiria, 1977. You know something's up from the very beginning. An American girl transfers to a prestigious dance academy in Germany, but after a series of brutal murders, she discovers that the academy is run by a coven of witches. Italian director Dario Argento doesn't focus on a complex or heavy plot with big dramatic twists, nor does he waste time developing his characters. He's just more instinctive and appeals to your senses to scare you, showing such a great and brilliant gory horror. Number 9. 28 Days Later, 2002. This wouldn't be complete without a zombie apocalypse. The story takes place 4 weeks after a mysterious and incurable virus spreads throughout the UK, and a group of survivors will try to find shelter. Hello! This movie makes you pay attention to every terrifying detail thanks to its visual effects and fast camera movements. Best of all, Danny Boyle, the film's director, helped reignite the zombie craze with a more gruesome look. Number 8. The Blair Witch Project, 1999. This film set a faux documentary style that fooled an entire generation. A horrifying movie that tells the story of 3 student filmmakers who travel to a small town to collect documentary footage about the Blair Witch, a legendary local murderer.
Making a documentary about a witch.
This film doesn't use special effects or digital monsters. It simply sowed anguish and terror in the viewer with the noises, footage of an abandoned forest, and the fear in the actors. Number 7. The Exorcist, 1973. Based on real events, it tells the story of a little girl who was a victim of paranormal phenomena. So her mother seeks expert help and even a priest with psychiatric studies. The Exorcist has not only transcended the horror and supernatural genre, but also conveys a unique sense of realism, achieving staggering effects. So much so that at its release, people experienced headaches, nausea, and fainting just by watching some scenes, as happened to a viewer who had to be compensated after breaking her jaw for passing out at the movie theater. Whoa! Director William Friedkin knew how to capture very well the terrifying scenes that go beyond words. Number 6. Halloween, 1978. You couldn't forget this epic movie. A ruthless thriller that has surpassed many horror classics. A terrifying story about Michael Myers, a 6-year-old boy who mercilessly killed his sister. And after 15 years, right on Halloween, escapes to continue killing. Director John Carpenter proves to be a master of building up tension and using that creepy piano music to provoke terror in anyone. Number 5. Rosemary's Baby, 1968. This movie is based on Ira Levin's novel about modern-day witches and demons. Number 4. A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. It's the most influential horror movie of the 80s. Wes Craven tells you about a group of American high school students whose dreams are infiltrated by a killer who wants to get rid of them in an extremely horrible way. Freddy Krueger is the character that has frightened an entire generation for his ruthless ways of slaughtering someone without mercy. Number 3. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. One of the movies that has disturbed me the most. A violent, dreadful, and gory film that takes your sleep away. Written and directed by Tobe Hooper, here, 5 young people are unlucky enough to run into an insane family that brutally tortures them. But the worst of them all is Leatherface, who wears a human skin mask and kills anyone with his chainsaw. Number 2. Psycho, 1960. A black and white film about a woman who steals money to run away with her lover, but when escaping, she decides to stay in a motel managed by Norman Bates. A masterpiece in which Alfred Hitchcock used his imagination to tell a story of love, mental illness, criminal intrigue, suspense, and horror with a gruesome sense of humor. Astounding. I'll introduce you now to a classic among the classics, a movie that revolutionized the horror genre. Number 1, The Shining, 1980. Directed by the great Stanley Kubrick and inspired by the novel of the same name by Stephen King, the movie tells you about Jack Torrance, a former teacher who travels with his family to a hotel to take care of its maintenance. But soon after, he suffers from disturbing personality disorders.
Here's Johnny!
A well-developed film, which can cause you claustrophobia due to the immense labyrinth of the plot, accompanied by a good soundtrack that will haunt you for days. I won't sleep tonight. Tell me, which movie has scared you the most? If you enjoyed the video, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more scary content. Don't leave yet, I have more spooky videos you'll love. Click here or here.